Now let's look at some of the formatting properties that we can set, and I want you to see some of the really cool stuff we can do here. First up, let's take a look at the way we've finished up with it from the previous exercise. Notice we've got these blue boxes with Mark and Janet, Matt, and Annie. So what we'll do, and notice here's my data, Mark and the age, Janet and the age, and of course Matt and his age, and Annie and age. So there's our data. And notice this is extracting the data from here and formatting it differently. Well, let's do some really cool stuff here. Let's change the width of our box back to about 200. See what we get. Okay, that looks a little better. Looks a little better. Now, let's align the text. Let's format the text. And I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to go up here and do this. I have to keep all the text together so it's a little easier to see. Let's call the text align. And again, if you're wondering where I'm getting these things from, you'll just have to learn them. Get out in a resource somewhere. Notice text align center. That's all we had to do. Look at the difference this time. Notice we've centered up in the boxes now. Now let's do something cool with these boxes. Let's start off by, let's put a border around them. So we'll come down here and we will put border, double, save that, go take a look at it, and notice we just put a border around. Now it's starting to look kind of cool. What's really nice is if we take the border and do like inset. Now if we run that, notice it's starting to look more like a Windows application now. And if we do outset, we tend to buttonize that thing. You notice these look like two buttons. Now this looks like I've been doing some serious coding to make my browser show this, and actually I've just used cascading style sheets to pull this off. One other thing that I can do, let's pull the padding down on this to say 4 instead of 40 so our buttons are a little smaller and they're not eating up so much space. And let's play with some text again. Let's take the weight of the font. So let's go, and actually let me put this up here. Keep it all together. Let's do the font weight and let's set it at bold. Then let's take the font style and set it at italic. Then I want to show you something here. Notice if I save that and now run it, we're going to see bold italics, hopefully, in those boxes, and there you have it. So notice how it's changing. Now, this is using relative positioning, so these boxes are tending to go to the upper left corner, and then it flows them down based on how they fall. I can use absolute positioning here. I'm not going to get into that, but if I wanted to put this box right over here in the center of the screen, I could call the XY coordinates and set it exactly where I want to based on the upper left corner. But there's one thing I want to show you about cascading style sheets that'll drive you nuts. Notice that we have italics. These, notice Mark and Janet and so forth, these are italicized. Well, if I misspell italics right here, okay, if I put an S on it, normally you say italics, but we set it by saying italic. If I save this and run it, am I going to get an error message? No. It just simply doesn't do what I asked it to do. If I come over here and change it from still blue, and let's say I fat fingered that to still whatever that is with a Y, notice what happens. It simply doesn't put the color in. And notice it appears that wife disappeared because that's in white print. And if I highlight over it with my mouse, you notice I can pick it up. So cascading style sheets won't record a whole bunch of problems for you. They just simply won't work correctly. So now notice what's happened here. We've done some pretty cool things just with cascading style sheets. It's very easy to pull off some really cool looking stuff, and obviously this looks a whole lot better than the XML did. So now in the next video or two, we're going to finish up talking about cascading style sheets, and then we'll get over into using XSL to format our XML documents.